guys, it's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. So I wanted to do a video today talking about a common topic that I have seen on a lot of purebred dog groups and forums and stuff like that, pages. And it's a misconception involving the term proven. A lot of people think that there's a common misconception that a dog, for a dog to be proven as far as being, and what a lot of people mean by proven is proven to be breed quality, okay? And what a lot of people think that this means is that the dog needs to be titled. It needs to be health tested, which I do agree with, and it needs to be titled in a dog show or have some type of working title. And that is what it means for a dog to be proven. Now, the pet community or the show community is the only, in fact, I'm not even going to say the show community because I don't even know that, I haven't even seen a lot of show breeders talk about this. I've seen some like very amateur ones, like people that only have like two, maybe 4 dogs, say that kind of stuff. They're usually just getting started and they take a dog, like their first dog, and they do what they think they need to do. They go and they title it because there's all this like pressure to do that stuff, and they do it. And they rant and rave about how awesome they are for titling their dog and doing all the things that they were supposed to do. And they talk about how everybody else, your dog should be proven, this and that, and proven. But you don't see it a lot of time from people who have been breeding for a long time. And the reason for that is because the longer you breed, the more you realize that a dog having a ribbon and even having good health testing doesn't prove anything other than the fact that that dog can win in a dog show and that it has good health testing. It does not prove that that dog is going to be able to provide its genetics to produce good offspring. And typically when other breeders talk about proven, that's what they're talking about. When you talk about a cattle breeder, sheep breeder, goat breeder, horse breeder, especially in the realm of horse racing, a proven stud or a proven mare is not an individual that just did well in its, we'll call it like its career, right? There are plenty of champion racehorses that were horrible producers. They never produced champions. So you can be a phenomenal looking individual and not ever be able to produce yourself. And that's what producing is. Producing is your ability to produce good offspring. So when somebody says that they're proven, that's typically what they mean is this individual has proven itself to be able to produce good offspring. And I was talking with Reese about this yesterday. We were talking about the community that behaves this way. Come on, Nirvana, get back over here now. Nirvana, now, come, good girl. And we were talking about how that, you know, one of the criticisms that I've gotten recently are these people that criticize the fact that I've used Batista now on Velocity, and that I will be using him going forward on all my breedings this year. And they felt that it was wrong because, you know, Batista isn't proven. Well, the way I see it is, I don't care if I took this dog out to get a show ribbon. That would have absolutely no bearing on whether or not he produces good offspring for me. You know what I mean? Whether or not he's a good sire. I see you, honey. What's up, baby? I see you. I see you. The only way that he will be proven is by using him in my breeding program and seeing what kind of pups that he produces. That's how a stud dog proves himself. A stud dog's worth is not measured by how many ribbons he's gotten. If the dog, you know, is a grand champion, multi-grand champion, multi-international champion, but he can't produce good offspring, well then how good is he? You know what I mean? How valuable are all of those ribbons if he can't produce puppies that look like him, or have a good temperament or have good health, right? So there's a lot of people that don't understand what a sire needs to do in order to be proven. And what most of us do is, you know, we'll get a sire, we'll get a dog from the best lines we can, right? And Batista comes from absolutely phenomenal lines. I did post his father and his mother up on Instagram. Back over here. Now, let's go. Let's go. Batista, move it. Good boy. Blondie, let's go. Back over here in the shade. And so right there we already have, you know, the majority of the mix, right? Generations of phenomenal dogs in his pedigree. He has the absolute pedigree to produce greatness. We know that. So that's a big part of it. Pardon me. Having said that, we have him health tested, right? That's another big aspect of it. So both of those things are checked. Now, there is a dog that I filmed a while back when I was in Croatia by the name of ZZ Top. This is a dog that is proven by all measures, right? He's a multi-champion dog, great health testing, and every single puppy, every single dog that he's been bred to, he produces absolutely phenomenal offspring. And I am saying phenomenal offspring, okay? Absolutely gorgeous dogs. And the thing about it is Reese and I were talking about it, and it was like, if this dog had never seen a show ring, no, Velocity, back over here, now. If this dog had never seen a show ring, would it affect the quality of puppies that he produces? Absolutely not. No, it would not. Would it mean that he's not a proven dog? Would it mean that his offspring are not valuable? No, absolutely not. They're gorgeous dogs. They have excellent structure. A puppy's quality is not determined on how many champions, or especially direct champions, are in its lineage. It is literally on the quality of that individual puppy. Now, does it help to have generations of high quality, good structured dogs? Absolutely. Yes, it does. Preacher, no, back over here. Let's go. Back over here. Preacher, you heard what I said. Move it. But it's not necessary. And I think what a lot of people forget in the critique section, is that this breed was created without the use of shows. This was never a show dog. They were a multi-use farm dog, a utilitarian dog. And so the idea that this breed should be judged and based upon how well they do in a show ring, to me, is absolutely ridiculous. It's like taking you two, gab each other's faces. Batista, go now. Get out of his face. Now. Move away. Go. Go. It's like taking a thoroughbred racehorse or a quarter horse cutting horse and trying to determine which horse is going to be the better horse just by taking it in a show ring and having somebody look at it. You know what I mean? That is not what's going to determine the next generation of champion thoroughbreds or quarter horses. So, and in fact, if you want to see how bad it can end up when you only use the show ring as a way of determining high quality, go ahead and look at those halter quarter horses. They are an absolute disaster, structural disasters. And same thing with Arabians. Arabians have been bred for show for so long that they're horrible. They have these mutations of their face. They look pretty bad. So anyway, I think that you need a balance of all things. If you want to show your dog, I'm perfectly fine with that. And I do believe in showing only because of the fact that I do believe that there is value in showing that you are invested in your dogs, and you're invested in the future of the breed. And it also will teach you about things you need to know about structure. Now, there are going to be times when you're just going to be gypped. When a dog with worse structure than your dog is going to beat your dog simply because the judge likes that dog or likes the owner of that dog. It does happen, absolutely. However, the mass majority of the time, it does tend to be fair. And you will learn a lot when you lose about why you lost. What is the judge looking at, where he's choosing another dog over yours, and then you can work with that in your program. And so anyway, there is value in it. But to say that a dog shouldn't be used unless it's, been in a show ring and won in a show ring is just absolutely ridiculous. There's no truth to that. Does it help? Yes. Should you? Sure, absolutely. If the dog is, if the dog is show quality, then absolutely. Now, is every dog that isn't show quality, does that mean it's not breed quality? Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. Come on. Come here. And I will say that these days, when you look at what's going in the show rings, a lot of people show dogs that, in my opinion, are not show quality. They'll put them out there and, you can get a title on them. But in my opinion, those dogs have no business in a show ring because you should be putting the best of the best out there. Vitani, come here. Come on. Vitani, right here. Let's go. Come. Psst. Let's go. Come on, Alex. Get her back in here right now. Let's go. Come on. And so, Vitani, no. Back over here. Let's go. Good girl. She's starting to listen a little bit better. Come on, Vitani, back over here. Good girl. That's a good girl. So anyway, and the thing about it is a lot of people that actually show a lot of dogs and have a lot of dogs and been doing this a long time, they understand that too. Because the reality is the people that are producing the best dogs, they're not going to sell you their best dogs. You know what I mean? They're going to keep those dogs back for themselves. What you're buying when you go to a breeder like that is the genetics. You're purchasing the ability to produce that in your next generation. So for people who sit there and criticize a dog's faults, it's like they don't understand how breeding works, because most of them are not breeders. And even if they are, they haven't been doing it very long, because that's just not the way it works. That's not in any way reasonable. A lot of times what you're purchasing is genotype, not necessarily phenotype. If you're lucky, you get the phenotype too. And, a lot of dogs, you'll have a really great dog. For example, like, Mad Mortigan, excellent genetics on this dog, right? Phenomenal genetics. However, he's definitely square. There's no question about it. He's a square dog. Now, some people would say, oh, that's a square dog. You shouldn't breed him because this dog is supposed to be longer. Well, some people may say that. Some people that aren't breeders may say that. But the reality is his genetics are phenomenal, and he has the genetics to produce length. And what you do is you take him right here and you stick him to a dog like Nirvana right there, who's got great length. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that you get it. I would probably still get length even if I put him to a square dog, to be honest with you. Because a dog is not always just going to produce itself. It's going to produce what's in its genetics. And that's why we buy from the best breeders we can. Because you're going to produce those genetics. Dogs have a lot of offspring. And they're not just going to produce mirror images of themselves. They're going to produce an array of what's in their genetics. So anyway, that's why I wasn't at all worried about breeding Batista. He went through a really funky stage, but to be honest with you, a lot of Corso do. They get really ugly before they get pretty, and especially the males, especially really big males. They just have so much body and bone and skin to grow into that they just look really bad for a while. And so, look at this, look at that boot, look at them thighs. Look at them thunder thighs. Thunder thighs! And so anyway, I think, it's easy to criticize from the sidelines when you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? When you don't know what you're doing. It's easy to look and say, oh, this person doesn't have perfect dogs. They're not perfect. Therefore, don't buy from them. They're horrible, blah, blah, blah. The reality is that there are no such thing as perfect dogs. And I actually show all my dogs. Most breeders don't. Most breeders that have, big programs and they're winning and they're doing all this stuff, they have a ton of dogs in their kennel, and you don't even see all of them. And I guarantee you there are breeders out there that have bred non-champion dogs, especially females. A lot of people invest their money in showing their males. Females, it's more common practice for females not to always be titled. So, but I'm an easy target because I'm open and I'm transparent and I don't hide anything. So it makes it easier to criticize somebody like me than it does somebody that doesn't show all this stuff. But I just wanted to kind of talk about this for people that are interested in the truth and do want to learn, and that are not just looking for something to just talk about. You know what I mean? If you're looking for the truth, this is what it is. This is how it works. This is how most programs work. You get the best dogs you can. Sometimes you really just want to get, the genetics, you may not be able to get the best dog in the litter, and it may be the dog that the breeder looked over because they had some faults. But you know what? you will produce that kind of quality in the long run. And that's the important part. Blondie. So she's getting on to Trinity because Trinity's way too hype. And she does need it, but Trinity has been a little too intense lately with her corrections. So, hey, back over here. Now, move it. All of you. Let's go. Man Mortigan, come on. Come on. Valak, let's go. Tell you what, man. These puppies. Oh, don't mess with Velocity. She'll get you. Look at that movement on Batani. Did you see that? Batani! Oops, she's going to go poop. She's like, I need to poop, Mom. I need to poop, and I don't want to poop right there. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of talk about that. Like I said, Reese and I were talking about the kind of quality that ZZ Top is producing. I've seen, Nirvana. I've seen multiple litters of his recently, and the puppies are just, it doesn't matter who he's put to. He produces phenomenal puppies. Just absolutely rock solid structure every time. He's like a freaking, just a copy machine of himself. And, and I just thought to myself, these people that talk this mess, do they even understand what they're saying? If this dog had never seen the inside of a show ring, would it change the quality of his puppies? Absolutely not. Would it change the fact that he's 100% a proven sire? Absolutely not. But these people just don't know. They typically focus on me, or they go on the Facebook drama groups and they just talk crap about other people, but they're not actually doing any real research into sires and the puppies that they're producing and how good they look. And Valak, get out of that. Get out of my trash pile. And really looking at genetics and how they work and kind of seeing how they express themselves. And maybe if they did, they'd spend less time talking crap and maybe be more educated, But I think that's a tall order. I think some people, they just like the drama of it all. They're not interested in learning anything. They just miserable people who just want to try to make other people miserable and spread their misery everywhere and hang out with people who are also miserable. As they say, misery loves company. But for those of you that want to know, that want to learn, that's how you do it. If you want to know how good a sire is, hey, no, Valak, move your butt back over here now. Go ahead and look at the offspring. One of the things I did, is when I talked about Chino. Some people were talking, everybody hates Chino. Well, guess what? Go look at Chino's puppies. You might find one or two that are, that do have, his phenotype, his, what we would call a hypertype dog. But you know what? There's a lot of them that are not. There's a lot of them that are really good looking. And actually, there are some very important dogs that come from that. Caesar is one of them. And there's even more dogs that come off of that. Without Chino, we would not have some very important dogs in our lines. And people always talk crap about that, but none of them have ever went through the database. And I'm telling you, go to the pedigree database, look up Chino, and go under his children and click on every single one of those links and look at the dogs. And then every single one of those dogs that has offspring, look at those offspring. It'll take you hours. Okay? But if you do it, you will find how important Chino is to this breed. And keep in mind that Chino was never praised for his head. He was praised for his structure. A lot of people talk about Bayron, this dog Bayron. Everybody loves Bayron. Well, guess what? Bayron never once beat Chino. Never once. Bayron had a head, Chino had a body. Okay? And a body is more important than a head because a dog isn't going to be able to move or work when it only has a head and no structure. All right. And that's what a lot of these people don't understand. They look at Chino's head. That's all they see is his head. And they're just like, oh my God, look at his head. And it's like, only Americans, it's the Kardashian effect. He's not pretty. He needs to be pretty. And they don't care about the body at all. You know what I mean? So for me, it's ridiculous as an actual breeder who cares about the whole dog, not part of the dog. It's just ridiculous. And it's hard sometimes to have to look at the stupidity that gets vomited all over the groups and the forums and Instagram and stuff like that by people who claim to be, guardians of breeds and determining who the good breeders are and who the bad breeders are. It's actually the blind leading the blind. But nonetheless, It is what it is. But if you really want to know the truth, and that's what I'm all about, is trying to help people find the truth amongst all of the garbage, you don't have to take my word for it, and I would appreciate it if you don't. What makes me happiest is when people do what I say when I say to research for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't take their word for it. Go onto the database, the pedigree database, look for, just do a quick Google search, Cane Corso Pedigree Database Chino, Cheno, and look under every single one of his offspring. Look at their pictures. And then every single time you look at one of their pictures, look at her structure. Then look at those, any one of them that have offspring, look at their offspring and look at those pictures and keep going. And you will find that Chino was a great producer. You know what I mean? He was a great producer, and he had a great body, and he won a lot. So, hey, no. Nirvana, get back over here now. Hold on, my dogs are taking off. Now, hustle. Get back over here now. Move it. Get your butts back over here now, you bad dogs. Good girl. Good girl. Valak, leave her alone and get over here now. Valak, you cut that out. When I'm talking to her, you don't mess with her. You don't mess with her. I'll send Preacher after you, boy. So anyway, just wanted to kind of cover that topic for you guys. Like I said, always do your own research. Never take anyone's word for it. Do not be a lazy learner. Do not look at somebody's post on Instagram and just believe it. If you think something might be true, research it for yourself. Or don't form an opinion. If you're not going to do the research, don't form an opinion. Just be like, you know what? I'm too lazy to find out for myself. I don't care. And that's just what it is. But don't go around spreading lies and misinformation just because you don't want to do the research. You know what I mean? So that's enough of that. Hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk at you later. Bye. Ooh, Nirvana, Little Miss Attitude. Bye, y'all.